It's delicious. That's all I have to say. It's delicious. Hey guys, welcome back to She Cooks. Thank you so much for choosing to cook with me. I'm Tay. I'm so happy to be back. Oh my gosh, I know I've been gone a long time. I'm sorry about that. Shout out to every single person that asked me when I was dropping new content, because y'all were my motivation, I swear. Very excited to share new recipes with you. It's 2021, woo woo, because 2020, you know what, we don't even need to talk about it. So for this week, I'm going to be sharing my creamy Tuscan chicken recipe with you guys. It's Valentine's Day month. It's the month of love. So this would be a great meal to make for your boo. But this recipe was really inspired by lack of ingredients in my fridge. So before we get into it, just a few reminders to go follow my page on Instagram, She Cooks Cooking with Tay, as well as like, commenting, and subscribing to my channel right below. Just go ahead and like that button. Happy Black History Month, everyone. Happy February. It's my birthday month, so if anyone wants to cash at me anything, I know. You know, just to buy mixing bowls, you know. Creamy Tuscan chicken. Here we go. Okay, cool kids. Here's everything you're going to need for this recipe. As always, I will provide the measurements of each ingredient in my description box. So first things first is prepping your tomato, onion, and chicken. I'm not a huge fan of tomatoes, so I'm going to dice them for this recipe, but if you'd like to cut larger pieces, feel free. If you don't necessarily feel like dicing tomatoes for this recipe, feel free to grab yourself some grape tomatoes and slice those in half. So when it comes down to seasoning food, I'm not the best at measuring. I kind of just go with the vibe. Season with the vibe is what I like to say. No pressure at all when it comes to using the same seasoning that I did. Just use whatever your gut's telling you. However, I will tell you that the mix of seasoning that I use does give a great flavor to the sauce later on. So off camera, I went ahead and lightly coated the chicken in flour. This is just going to make sure that the seasoning holds on the chicken as it's searing in the pan for the next few minutes. You can do the same, or you can skip the flour. So this is just a personal preference. I like to cut my chicken while it's still cooking in the pan. If you prefer to keep your chicken whole as you remove it from the pan, that's fine. Just make sure it's cooked all the way through. So you guys already know that I am a huge stan when it comes to cast iron skillets, but for especially this reason. Cast iron skillets help hold such a great flavor with whatever you're cooking. I chose not to wash out my skillet after cooking my chicken because I wanted to make sure that that flavor was infused in my Tuscan sauce. will do the job, but don't be afraid to add a whole bag of spinach. Just kidding. I just really like spinach. But if you guys want to add more or less, that's fine. But the spinach does reduce fairly quickly, so feel free to add more if you'd like. When adding the cream cheese, you want to make sure that it's at room temperature. It's much easier to separate that way. You can see that I am just pulling it apart. But if you don't want to be like me, go ahead and just slice it up before you add it. It's also much easier to mix. As you can see, it mixed fairly quickly. It was lumpy for like 2 seconds and then smoothed out. As you're mixing your sauce, if you find that it's a little too thick for your liking, feel free to add a little more chicken stock. Last but not least, you're going to re-add that chicken and go ahead and toss it in the sauce and let it simmer on a low heat for an additional 2 or 3 minutes. I told you guys it was going to be delicious. Well, there you have it, creamy Tuscan chicken. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you thought of the recipe in the comments. And until next time, thanks for cooking with me.